I'm at Sam's getting my tire replaced, but let me say this to y'all real quick. You know how when a company is not making enough money to support its staff, and so they thin out the staff by doing layoffs and pay cuts in order to ensure that what's going out is not more than what's coming in? That's the same thing that's happening with the healthcare system. A few months ago, really for years now, but a few months ago, I did a video where I told you you're getting ready to witness the fall of healthcare. The disease burden that we have in the United States far exceeds the amount of resources and manpower that we have. That is the reason why you are seeing Medicaid being taken away and private insurance premiums double, triple, and quadruple. They have to make it inaccessible. So when it becomes inaccessible, what happens? The people that cannot afford it, who have the heaviest disease burdens, what happens to them? Thank you. That is how they thin out what they need to. You're not going to see healthcare rebound.
Remember the Georgia guidelines.
Next to defense, our healthcare system is one of our most largest
Salaki, the Georgia Guidestones.
Expenses. And you're not getting any better. So the disease burden that we have in the United States, meaning the amount of people that are sick, is greatly overwhelming. They're not getting any better. They're getting progressively worse. And we cannot afford as a country to keep taking care of people whose health is getting progressively worse. That is why you're seeing what you're seeing. This is not a game. Nobody is coming to save you. It is time to get control of your diet, your lifestyle, your stress level, your mental health. Your actual life depends on it. Have a good one.
Coca-Cola.
I'm at Sam's getting my tire replaced.
Shalom, call halal, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High, in His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone who taught us His truth, and truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. And as you see in this video, the death care system is failing, okay? The death care system is failing. This is why they're, telling the nurses and doctors that their degrees aren't, professional anymore. And a lot of these hospitals are shutting down, which really, I call it the death care system, because it was never about your health, okay? It was never about making you better. It's about getting you hooked on drugs, like you hooked on phonics, and before you know it, and also so they can, garnish a bunch of money off you, man, through the insurance companies and whatnot. So it says you better take your wellness into your hands by being intentional about what you eat, what you watch, and what you wear, and what you drink. Be intentional with how you breathe, how you sleep, and where. Protect your ability to thrive on every front. This is your peace in war, right? A comment says, my daughter, very fit fiance, went on ADHD medication with one of the side effects being diabetes, and now he has diabetes. Wow. Okay. This place is not set up for you to live. All right. This is not our rest. This is not our rest, man. All right. So you gotta be very mindful about what you put in your body. Okay. Taking care of your health, making sure you're eating properly. And I saw this woman yesterday. She she showed her the full before and after pictures of her or whatever. And she showed how she changed her life with eating natural foods, making her own foods, home cooked meals. But then she went a step further. She started making her own bleach, her own laundry detergent, her own lotion, her own soaps and stuff, man. And you can see the transition from before to who she is now. And hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro, I kind of fell in love with her ass, because that's real beauty. She probably ain't the most beautiful. She ain't the most beautiful woman in the world, but inwardly, that's real beauty, and that's somebody that you want on your team, on your side. Okay, Just something to be mindful of, man. Because the time you're coming into, bro. I saw a video the other day too where it was showing you. I might put it up as a short. It was showing you. People say, oh, I used to eat this growing up, and the truth is, you didn't eat none of this food growing up. The food we ate growing up is not the same food we eat until today. It might be the same companies and brands, but now it is showing you the ingredients from back then to now. Okay. It would have 3 or 4 or 5 ingredients in it back then, and now it has 20, 30, 50 ingredients in it. That's all the poison, okay? Stuff you can't even pronounce. Like, what? We in hell. So let's go grab a few precepts. Make this too long. It says, Job chapter 13, verse 4, it says, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are physicians of no value. You see? When you go to them, death spittles, they're not there to help you, okay? They're there to prolong your pain and suffering while they milk your pockets. Okay, it's a company, it's a business. Okay, if you have a business and they only can sell you one product one time, then that business is going to go out of business. So they got to keep you. That's why the medication they give you, and I got to be careful what I'm saying because they'll try to, I'm not giving any medical advice. Fair use. We got to say all this stuff because this devil, he don't want this truth going out. But we got to speak on these things, okay? We are the mouthpiece of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. It says in the NLT, as for you, you smear me with lies. You physicians, as physicians, you are worthless quacks, right? They're not there to make you better, okay? They really don't have any intention on making you better, man, okay? This is why we read the scripture right here, okay? Because we are definitely in hell here in America. And all over the world, but especially here in America, man. Okay, polluted. And the moment you really understand this, you can, start making great changes to your life and your health. Micah chapter 2, verse 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This is not rest, man. You can't get comfortable here. It shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. Right, and that's what it's doing to us. We're being destroyed with a sword of destruction. Okay, scripture says, I'm gonna grab it next. It says, let me grab it real quick. Yep. This is Matthew 24 and verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to the end. So like it says, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And that's why I brought up the Georgia Guidestones, man, which they knocked them down, but those Guidestones told you their plans. This is what they got. They got to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. That's how it gives them the ability and the power to do it, because you can't say you ain't know. They put up stones in 10, 12 different languages telling you their plans. Okay, and I believe the first, if not the second one, was to bring the population down to under 500 million. Okay, so before they was pretending like they're here to help you and make you better, but now they're not even going to pretend anymore. That's why they shutting all these hospitals down. That's why they, getting rid of all the nurses and whatnot, man. Okay, they're not even going to pretend to help you anymore. All right, we're coming into a time where, and this is where you got to get back into, you can't say certain words, but I'm gonna say, natural, okay, natural things, okay, making your own things. Stop buying from these major companies. I was talking to somebody about it the other day. You can't be buying food from Walmart no more. It's not safe. They fucking drowning their chicken in chlorine. You can't buy meat from Walmart. You can't buy anything from Walmart anymore. Stop going to these major, box stores, man. All right, if you know what's good for you. It says, Matthew chapter 24, verse 21, for there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. In fact, unless the time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive. And this is what they're hoping for. All right, this is why they're saying they're going to stop the death care system is dying, because that's what they want. They want people to start dropping dead. That's why they got you hooked on all these pills and You all bugged out. You can't think straight. You know, they putting the poison in the food. You have the Food and Drug Administration. They work hand in hand. They putting the drugs in the food, and they're putting food in the drugs. Okay. It says, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen one. So the Lord is shortening these times. Okay, we at the end of this place. All right, so you gotta be mindful of that and be in the spirit. Stay circumspect. It says, Shalakia. I believe this is it. This is Yep. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 38 verse 1. It says, honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord have created him. And this is a actual physician. This is why back before the C9, they was killing off a bunch of the holistic doctors. Okay, Dr. Sebe and a bunch of other ones. They would just drop. It was just getting unalived, bro. You think that's by coincidence? People ain't catch on to that. Before the C9, they killed off a bunch of holistic doctors. They were just getting found dead, Which actually, I saw an ad the other day to go to school to be a holistic doctor, and I actually applied for that shit. I got a meeting on Tuesday, okay? Because now is the time when you got to really start doing your research and taking your health in your own hands. You can't depend upon this man to help you, okay? And being ignorant is not an excuse anymore either. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the King. So that's another thing too. You gotta pray, because you could take all the supplements and all eat all type of healthy and go to the gym and still die. I saw a video the other day. I shared it to the Akim. It was a video of somebody who appeared to be an Edomite. He was at the gym. He was at the gym. Bench pressing. And I guess the weight slipped and it hit him. It wasn't even that much weight, but he was an older guy too. The weight slipped and fell on his chest. He got up, he was holding his chest, and they said that he basically died after that, man. So you can you can be in the gym every day, you could be eating healthy, you could be doing all these things, but if you're not right with YAHAWASHI, you're gonna die anyways. All right, that's why you gotta pray, and that's first. Pray and make sure you're in the right spirit with the Lord. But also take care of yourself. It says the scale of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. Right? Okay. Because there's need of you. When people get sick, they need somebody to tell them how to get better, to help them get better. Which Dr. Sebe, he had a whole. I believe it's still there. His family's running it. He had a whole retreat in Honduras where you can go there, and he has they give you fruits and vegetables and the right foods to eat to heal your body, help you heal whatever problem you got. And they have these baths, these these oxygenated pools of water where you can sit in, and that right there will heal you as well. And I was talking to my mom about it, and she was saying how she had came across the story of a woman that went there, a Jake woman that went there, because it cost some money to go there. It cost like $1,600 or something like that, man, a crazy amount of money. And not to mention just to, with the traveling and stuff, right? So she was saying how there's a lady that went there, and she said she seen a bunch of people that was there, and she asked them what they do, and it was all doctors and, people who supposed to be helping you. That's where they go to get healthy, while they giving you this shit that's killing you. Come on, bro. Come on, man. It says, here's the point in verse 4. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. You see? So the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. You right? So don't be, don't be simple. You got to get into the herbs, man. It says, was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? Right. You remember, that account where the water was made, was cleansed with the wood. There's certain herbs that you can cleanse your water, your food with, man. Okay? It says, and he hath given men skill that he might be honored in his marvelous works. With such doth he heal men and taketh away their pains. You see? And the reason why your body all jacked up, you got all this inflammation and pain and stuff. If you're not, taking care, that's because you're not taking care of yourself. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Okay. Of such doth the apothecary make a confection, and of his works there is no end. And from him is peace over all the earth. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord. That's why that's the first thing. But pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin, and order thine hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. And it's the time we in, man. Okay? You can't be still eating McDonald's and, Cheetos, bro. I saw a post, too. I saw a post where somebody had threw out some hot Cheetos. They threw them out in the grass. Some hot Cheetos or whatever. They threw them out in the grass, and they came back, hours later or a day later or whatever, and it was crazy because they were saying how none of the animals, the ants, the bugs, nothing ate the Cheetos. The Cheetos were still there. But here's the crazy part. They showed how underneath the Cheetos, the grass was turning black. The grass was dying underneath the Cheetos. You can't make this stuff up, bro. Imagine what that shit is doing in your stomach, bro. And you know Jake woman. I remember growing up, Jake, the black woman used to be, all she was eating for breakfast was hot Cheetos and a grape soda or some shit, bro. Stop drinking soda too. This shit is garbage. These are things that we must know and understand. This is a part of the truth. How can you say you in the truth and you ain't even, you ain't even hip to what's in your food and in your water and stuff, man. You're not taking serious concern about that and learning about taking care. That's what our elders and apostles taught us. Learn the tinctures, use the herbs. If your toes start hurting, the first thing you should not do is go to the hospital. Okay. Cayenne pepper. Okay, these different things that's already in your kitchen will help you out a lot. That's the point, though. Lord, we don't take this video down. Like I said, I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm just, reading the scriptures at this point. But you know how Esau is, man. So I wouldn't be surprised. Shalom, Kama Shirala, Bakbal.